Very good, friends. Hi, Doc South here. I've got another story about Chester, New Jersey, a town I grew up in, loved the town, and, well, still do. But back in the day, back in the late 50s, mid to late 50s, Chester was a different ballgame than what you see now. There weren't too many mansions around the place. Well, actually, there were a few. There were some very rich people on the outskirts of town here and there that, like owned shipping companies and stuff. Yeah, just little companies, yeah. And then there was the rest of us. But all very good people. And it was, in a way, it was kind of like living in New England. Everybody kind of knew what everyone else was up to and stuff. Yeah. And we lived on Main Street, my family, and right next door to us was a place called Serby's Gas Station. Serby's Gas Station, run by Walt Serby. And I used to, on occasion, I'd go, when I was older, I could go there. I'd make a few bucks pumping gas. Yeah. And like that. But when I was younger, Mrs. Serby, Mary Jane Serby had come over and sit, with my mom and talk. Oh, they were the best of friends. And they, just all the time. And I love sitting there talking with Mrs. Serby too. I mean, we'd get into all sorts of debates and always good natured, this and that about whatever, and lots of back and forth. And Mrs. Serby was, I don't know exactly if she came from Chester or not. I don't know. But she must have lived there at least most of her adult life after she and Walt got married. But they had like a little bit of a truck farm in the field that we all played in. We knew to stay out of the truck farm, but the rest of the field was, inbounds rather. The garden was out of bounds, right. Unless your baseball went in there or your airplane or maybe your kite crash landed into the corn patch, But other than that, we knew to might be wise to stay out. I seem to remember too, one day right after they had plowed the field, by gum, I think I found I believe I did find an arrowhead in there. I think I did. After it had rained, I was just kind of walking around in the mud, well, and looked down. Oh my gosh! And yeah, I believe I did. It wasn't a perfect arrowhead, but it was definitely something some Indian probably worked on and realized, oh my God, I goofed this up, something awful, and he just threw it. It wasn't what you would call the perfectest of, it wasn't the epitome of, arrowheads. Flint, though, yeah, black flint, if I recall right. Let's see. But one day, I don't know, Mrs. Serby come over to the house. She come walking in. Mary Jane was her name, and she says hi to my mom. She says, Marianne, she says, would you mind if your son Mike here came along with me? I want to go gather watercress, and I'll bring some over for you guys after, if he'll give me a hand. And Mom said, well, heck yeah, you guys just hop in the car. So off I went. I believe the Serbys owned this old Studebaker, the one that kind of looked like a rocket ship, had the big roundish nose in the front. That's a Studebaker, right? And you almost couldn't tell front from back. I think I had the round nose in the back, too. And it was a funny looking car, but it was pretty cool. It was almost, well, no, it was pretty much, yeah, it had that kind of bull nose. And I think it was a Studebaker, one from the early to mid 50s. They drove that all over the place. Well, I hop into the car and down we go, down to along the Black River. Yeah, the valley just north of Chester. We found a spot to park Mary Jane found a spot to park the car, and she says, here, carry this basket and this bag, and I'll get the snippers, and off we go. And I said, so where is this place? She says, well, we got to go up the old railroad bed. Now, if you're down in the valley of the Black River, down near like Bernie's Hillside Lounge, all in through there, well, the other road, I believe it's Pleasant Hill Road. There's a spot to park, I guess where fishermen would park to go fish off the side of the the bridge there that spanned the Black River there on Pleasant Hill Road. And I think we were parked in sort of like a little spot where the railroad bed crossed at one time, where the railroad would have crossed Pleasant Hill Road. And of course, the railroad was long since gone. It had been all, picked up, the rails taken away, the ties and stuff. But you could see little, yeah, if you kept your eyes open, you'd see an old railroad spike or a hunk of something that may have fallen off a train and like that. And it's all cinders. And we just started walking east as if we were walking towards Succossena. And we're in the valley, and you're on one side it's woods and a fairly good sized hill, and on the other side it's the marshes that the Black River created. I imagine at one time it might have been a lake. I don't know, but maybe. But it was marshes. The river itself was in there, about a quarter of a mile, just nothing much wider than, well, truth be known, not much wider than about 8 or 9 feet wide, and deep enough that, and slow enough that if you got on a raft or something, which I did once up in Succossena, east of Chester, it'd take you hours to get to the Pleasant Hill Bridge. That would be the next bridge you would see from the Ironia area to Chester. It's swamps. I don't think you can do much of anything in there except get bit by mosquitoes in the summer. Okay. So we're walking well, quite a while. I'd say we may have gone in there about a mile, Mary Jane and me, and well, finally she says, here it is. Here it is. And I said, wow. And she's like rubbing her hands together. Oh, look at all this watercress. I'm saying, what? Where? What? She says, look, you see that rock outcrop over here? Yeah, to the right here. I said, yeah. She says, look at all that, there's, and all the dirt around it. That's all watercress. Don't you see, the plants you see growing out of that wet dirt. And I'm looking, I said, my God, I think you're right. She says, here, try one. Just take a little. I said, oh my gosh, that's good. It's got a nice bite to it. She says, yeah, come on, let's start picking. I said, well, we shouldn't take it all, right? She says, we don't have to. There's so much and it grows right back. She says, it's fantastic stuff. Come on, let's go. And we're cutting and throwing it in the basket. And she's putting I think she's putting not paper towels, but damp rags over it. And the water's dripping. It's almost like something out of a jungle movie. Yeah, where Tarzan's sitting there saying, wash feet here. And there's all this watercress and moss, all sorts of moss. And she says, gee, let me get a hunk of moss too. She says, there's a rock in our yard. I want to put some moss on it. Let me get that. And she very carefully placed the moss down. Watercress, long story short, we got ourselves a basket about the size of a small suitcase full of watercress. Left plenty for anyone else that came by. Again, cinders all over the place. I'm looking for railroad spikes. That's what I want to find. And like that. And just digging and poking. And finally, like I said, we got enough. We take it on back. And, Mary Jane, Mrs. Serby, said, there you go. Thank you. She says, boy, this is good. Now, let's see. We're going to make some. Let's get back to the house. I'll get some. We'll give some to your mom, and I'll make all of you watercress sandwiches. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, a watercress sandwich? Ugh. Can't we have salami or something? I'm thinking, maybe a burger. We could grill them. Or no, she says, no, watercress. Have you ever tried one? I said, well, no. She says, well, they ain't too bad. And she was always interested in educating me. Bless her heart, she always had it instruct me on. She would have been a great teacher, Mrs. Serby. Well, anyway, so we get back, and let's see. I got a recipe here, and I'm sure this is what she did. To make watercress sandwiches, here it says here. I'm quoting from, I don't know, something here on the computer. Let's see. You need unsalted butter. You soften it. Okay, you soften it, mush it up with a fork, I guess. Get it a little warm, maybe not real warm though, because it falls apart. You need watercress leaves, finely chopped. You got to chop them up like crazy, to where they almost look like when you crumple a dried leaf. Yeah, they got to be pretty small. Then you need a little bit of lemon juice, a teaspoon of lemon juice, some, well, here, it says, for instance, it says 25 grams of watercress leaves. I don't know. Go figure. You need 125 grams of unsalted butter. You're going to have to figure this out on your own. I'd say to taste. Okay. Then finally chop. Okay, you finally chop the watercress. You can use a scissors or a real sharp knife on a cutting board. A teaspoon of fresh lemon juice, a quarter teaspoon of fresh ground black pepper. It's got to be the pepper that really has a bite to it. Let's see, a little cayenne pepper, a pinch of it, and then 16 slices of thinly cut white bread. So thin white bread, real fresh. Okay, and then about 32 sprigs of watercress. Again, I guess that's plus extra for garnish. And evidently, you make the watercress butter in a food processor. You blend the butter, the watercress leaves, the lemon juice, the black pepper, and I guess you spread that on bread and maybe put a little extra watercress just for good measure on top of the sandwich, and fill your belly a little, and there you go. Oh, and you got to eat them like this. Yes, with your pinkies up. Yeah. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff indeed. Yes. Okay. Anyway, I thought you might like to know, and there you go. And good old Mrs. Serby, boy, she did a fine job of. On that particular day, we just had ourselves a ball eating watercress. Of course, later I wanted meatloaf. Well, you got to eat about 10 of those watercress sandwiches. Yeah, and Mom noticed. She said, you ate a lot of watercress. You sure you're ready for supper? I said, oh God, yeah. She says, well, we'll garnish the meatloaf with watercress. What do you think? I said, that sounds good. All right. So anyway, we'll see you later, friends. Thank you. God bless.